Welcome to episode 11, everybody. We are on tour in the north of Australia with Dr. Peter Flynn.
We're coming to you from Darwin here. It's finally warmer where I am than where Benji is.
It is. How hot is it up there?
It's like 34 every single day, all day. It just doesn't change. It's literally just the same. It's fantastic. It's really good.
Yeah, that is hot. We've got a chilly one. I think we're probably at about 18 or 19 today with some cloud.
Must be rough, mate.
One day I hope to have that tan.
It's the good lighting in here. And my girlfriend helped put a little bit of fake tan on before. You know, the usual.
Powder.
Yeah, she did my eyebrows too. It's looking beautiful.
Paying off. You're looking good. How is your week going? How's your wallet looking?
Well, apart from losing my ID somewhere yesterday, my wallet's looking pretty good. So if anyone does find an ID of Peter Flynn, please do hand that one in.
Don't hand it over, guys. You can sell it back to him.
In the Northern Territory. Talking of investing, actually, this isn't really investing, but we had to get some cash out to go to some markets. And I'm actually going to gamble for the first time. I'm going to go and put the $90 or whatever we took out on black. And I'm pretty confident we've got this. It's what, 50-50? Like,
the odds are in your favor.
I think ever since I started doing a little bit of crypto and NFTs, I've become a bit of a loose unit now. So I don't like to
play. So you would try and double it once?
Yeah, of course.
Because real legends go for 3 times.
Well, they go big or go home here, as you'll see today. And I might even start by sharing the old screen and going through where we're at with a few of these things, which is a little bit exciting. Let me pull up the NFT.
We got an exciting week because we haven't really connected because you've been holidaying. I've gone
my phone broke.
You what?
My Apple phone broke. For those watching, I've been through 3 MacBook Pros and now an iPhone 12 Pro has just died on me. So,
well, as a part owner of Apple stock, I humbly apologize on behalf of the company. And if you just call in our customer service team, they'll be happy to help you out.
Yeah, look, I'll give you a call after, Benji.
No, I'm sorry, I'm an owner. I don't run customer service. We employ people to do that.
Amazing. Well, I might jump straight into, because I'm keen to talk about some financial stuff. And if I go on black this way out to begin with, we have proudly lost money for 2 weeks in a row.
Yes. That's what the people want. They don't want to see
what the people want.
Good looking guy making millions in
so, as you can see,
weeks.
$2,000 down. It's a little bit of a downward trend here.
And I'll go. It's a long snout, but it's
long. But hey, look, the S&P 500 is down here. This is the S&P 500, so I'm still reasonably happy with where we are. But I thought I might go through how I got here today and start with this one. And I've got some exciting news because I believe next week, Tyro, we're going to see another jump in. It's gone up to $3.75. So it's gone 8.07% up. This is week 11. So in 11 weeks to be 8% up, I'm pretty bloody happy with that.
That's awesome.
The Webjet is 22% up and Center Group is 16.94% up. And I think next week's going to be a really big week because these are all recovery stocks. So these are all really dependent on people coming out of lockdowns. And if you're following Australia, if you follow Joe Rogan, you'll see that he talked very much about Australia's under martial law at the moment. They're using the army and the police to keep everyone aside. They're even using facial recognition in South Australia to check on people for home quarantine, which is using GPS and facial recognition, which is getting some eyes around the world on it, saying that's a little bit totalitarian.
Yeah.
We'll leave that one for now. That was interesting, I thought. But the big announcement on Friday, which was actually after the stock market closed, was that Australia has secured 4 million extra doses of Pfizer from the UK to come over right now. So what that will look like is it's going to bring forward 4 million doses, and that should drastically speed up the recovery. And we know that stocks here are looking forwards. They're looking at what's going to happen and how much money they're going to make. And so they'll be looking at it going, well, we expected mid to late November was when we were going to be getting out of these lockdowns. Now it might come forward, say, a month. Now, an extra month of profits for a company is a big thing. And not to mention people getting a little bit excited and jumping into stocks. So I expect to see Webjet continue to jump up. Not only that, but Scott Morrison, after National Cabinet, which was after the stock market closed as well, talked about once we are at 80% vaccinated, you can travel overseas and you can come back and you can do home quarantine, be the first sort of thing. So now he's talking about international travel at 80%, which we're looking at by start of November now. So they've gone from saying no international travel for years and be stuck in your cave, whatever his example was there, to possibly looking around November, December this year, international travel to the safe countries is resuming, which is going to be massive for Webjet. So they're 22% up at the moment. I expect that to continue to rise.
That's a ridiculous percentage to be up on a stock.
In 11 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. How much did that go up? Because wasn't that like 10% last week?
It was $5, or about $5.55, I think. So it's gone from about 14 to 22%. And Monday, we expect this to continue to go up. Now, on my very dark phone here, I'm just going to pull something up. But while I do that, Center Group is another stock that went from $2.80 last week. So it was at $2.80. So 12, which is what, 12% to about 16.94%. So another 5% rise there, which is massive. And the cool thing about Center Group is it's very reliant on us being out of lockdowns and us opening. And that's going to happen faster again. So we're looking at all these things happening. And then the big one up here that I'm excited about is Tyro. Now, Tyro is only 8% up at the moment. But last year, they signed a really big deal with Bendigo Bank to take over, I think, 28,000 terminals. So they become Tyro terminals in a deal with them. What that's going to mean, and that happened on July 1st, is that Tyro is actually making more money now when nearly all of Australia is in lockdown, not able to go to the shops, etc. They're also pushing into e-com, but they've got this other 28,000 terminals. So once we come out of lockdown, we've got this extra 28,000 terminals. They're actually making 20% more profit, 25% more profit than they were this time last year, week on week, month on month. And we had heaps less lockdowns. Like we had Victoria in lockdown, but all of Sydney wasn't. That's a huge market. It's the biggest market in Australia. So at the moment, that's a market that's not getting utilized. So the second we come out of lockdown, their profits are going to skyrocket. So this is a company I still feel is very undervalued. But the big thing that was announced, and this was announced today, I believe, actually, what was the date on this? September 3rd, or Friday after the stock market closed, sorry, is that Tyro is being added into the S&P, not the S&P, the ASX 200. So Tyro now has a large enough market cap that it's been added into that. Now, what that means is that all the indexes tracking that then have to buy it. And what typically happens at the same time is now other people go, well, this must be a really good stock. So then they want to buy that too. So normally when things get added into the indexes like this, they have another shoot up. So watch that one on Monday. I believe this is going to go up a lot on Monday because of COVID, because of the vaccines, because of the addition to the ASX 200. And I believe these two will go up quite significantly too because of those 4 million vaccines brought forwards. So I'm so excited. I'm so bloody excited. It's great.
Dude, that's sick. And it has unlike in the crypto world, logical reasons why these things are actually moving.
Yeah, which is, I mean, the crypto is where I've made a lot more money in terms of just things have gone up, and I bought things based off of maybe social arb, things that I thought may go up. Some things went down. But when I look at these, I understand why I bought them. And if you were to look at anyone in the stock market, and if you could say over an 11-week period, you're going to make an 8% gain, a 22% gain, and a 17% gain, you would be over the moon.
Yeah, you would.
Over the moon.
You'd be getting every cent that you had and putting it into that fund.
Yeah, especially in the same time, we've seen the S&P 500 go up 4.31%. To be beating it by so much is, for me, I'd say, very, very hard thing to do, especially consistently, to pick 3 stocks that do it and not just one. And maybe like one did really well and the other 2 didn't. So I'm very happy with these results. And I think they're going to continue to boom over the next 6 months because they're recovery stocks and we're recovering from COVID.
I'll tell you, bro, I've been following DumbMoney and I believe you're beating DumbMoney's recommendations. So,
well, stupid money over here is doing well, man.
Super dumb money.
Super dumb money.
For a Tyro, because I'm in Tyro outside this challenge, obviously in your recommendation. Is that like Afterpay? I don't even know what it is. Is it like Afterpay or is it just a payment processor?
It's literally payment terminals.
Okay.
So it's payment terminals, but they've
Like
also
a Square.
kind of like Square. So they're the fifth biggest payment terminal company in Australia. They've moved into e-com now as well, which I think is really big. They're looking at moving into sort of banking and loans too.
Oh, okay.
Which will definitely increase that. But they keep, and I'd encourage you to actually go and read the AGM sort of stuff from where they've come from and where they're going. And if you look at the small businesses that they're acquiring and how they're adding that into their ecosystem, and they're also very aware of their footprint and what they're doing. So they're a really good company. They've got really great leadership, really no debt on their balance sheet. They're just a really, really good company. And in healthcare, especially, they're taking over. And it's hard to be in healthcare, I think, and not have Tyro these days because it just is getting better and better through small acquisitions. And looking at it, it's just a very valuable company and they care about their customers. They're always looking at how they can improve. And this is a company I'm going to be bullish on for a long time. I'm heavily invested in this outside the challenge as well. I think I've got just over $100,000 in Tyro. So I'm very, very bullish on this. And I think over the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to become a very, very large company if they keep the same management and leadership here.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is financial advice.
That's absolutely not financial advice.
That is the one part of our show that is.
Now, if we jump over here, I decided I had to buy some NFTs in order to hopefully catch Benji because he's jumped on the NFT train and it's a little bit ridiculous.
And it took off out of the station very fast.
It did. So if I scroll down, I bought these 2 NFTs, which have been really up and down. At one stage, this one was worth about $16,000 and this one was worth about $12,500 So at one stage, it was going ridiculous. It has dropped a bit. In fact, this didn't even have a price on it half the week, and I thought I lost all my money. I don't know what happened.
Oh, it's the trading on it froze. They had a bug.
Yeah,
it's very weird.
I legitimately thought like, oh shit, what's happened? It's like worth $0 now. I just paid $10,000 for this thing.
It's all gone.
It's all gone. It's all gone. But realistically, I've got these 2 here. I think between them, I had it written down somewhere. But it still makes up the majority of my portfolio, 2.4 ETH and 1.98 ETH and Ethers. Ethereum. Yeah, it's about 5.3 Australian, I think. So quite valuable. And I still have 0.98 Ethereum sitting in my MetaMask wallet. So that's actually appreciated over this time as well, even though these may have dropped slightly. However, pretty bullish considering on the 1st of October, Christie's is auctioning off the full set here. I think around that time, it's going to get a lot of airtime, a bit more mainstream, and you might see them shoot up a little bit. Definitely feeling like I'm going to hold these. And I'm also looking at buying this little bad boy here. And I just need to figure out what I can sell or even put an offer in at 0.98 ETH. Let's see what people are putting here, 0.92.
Yeah, 0.92 is the highest. I reckon you could grab one, especially at the moment.
0.98 may get me over the line.
But did you know if you buy the books, you join an exclusive book club?
What books?
Go back on. Those books.
Oh.
And the reason why these books are one of the lower ones is because there was someone who had a lot of books. And they sold them all very late in the bull market. They had 420 books and they tried to sell them for 1 ETH. And the price of books to buy one was like 2.2 ETH. And the price of books to buy 420 was 1 ETH. It was actually a hilarious thing to watch. And then someone bought it 420. And so there's still this like big chunk of books that's yet to get distributed. But they actually have a cool utility. I know Jenna really wants to get one and get into the book club because you have to hold this NFT to be part of this exclusive worldwide Curio book club. So he could be a good one for you.
Very interesting. Do any others have utility like this?
I don't believe so. Not that I know of.
This one can be a car racing club.
Yeah, you get a free car with that one.
No, very interesting.
There are these cool, and I've been diving deep into the NFT world, but there are these cool little communities, and I think I should be going side by side. You said something I'm recording. There we go.
There we go.
The very Pete-centric first half of the podcast.
I was going to say, you were looking very beautiful, though. So we need to make sure that you are in this, okay?
We're gonna give me a little bit of...
It's because I got a singlet on, isn't it? Looking swole today.
You are looking swole, sir.
I think so.
But yeah, I've been looking into the communities behind these sorts of NFTs, and it's cool to watch them like develop and sort of take on a life of their own. There was actually one NFT project that was super hyped. And the people who were buying into it actually didn't like what the original founders were doing, and they basically had like a mutiny and kicked them out.
Really?
Yeah. So there's some wild stuff going on. I'll start my share over here on the board, of which actually I had a recommendation, which I think is a good one, is next week we should do our number last, because I was told that people, one person in particular was like, I watch it and then I see how much you've made, and I'm like, cool, I'll see you next week. I'm like, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. If you're not trying to actively do it, it's like, I can understand. So we'll have a couple of tests. And we'll put our numbers down. Now, I have also had a down week, down 13 Gs. But the crazy thing is, and this is the stuff I'm learning in this challenge, is like once you hold a large amount, especially of a volatile asset, you can just fluctuate 50, 40 Gs, 13 Gs, 20 Gs, literally a day. Like we're going week to week here, but between the 87 and the 94, this was past 100,000, and then it was down to 60, and now it's like settling somewhere. Of which actually I thought about this in the shower, weirdly enough, but I was like, it's funny how my curious seem to always be down when I record my podcasts. They hit a low point, and I picked up like a subconscious pattern that I feel like Sundays are not a good day for curios or NFTs. And it might even be a little bit of information that I might be able to trade on. Just buy on Sundays, sell on Wednesdays.
Just on that, I bought my NFTs about 3 seconds after our podcast last week.
Yeah.
And over the next couple of days, they went down in price. So
Sundays
may not be the best day, my man.
Good. Could be some more IPO data.
I just remember sitting there on the refreshing the screen continuously and feeling shocked and horror as I just saw it, just like
ding, 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 ding. Yes.
Sorry, as you were, sir.
It is a wild world, which I would love to get into a little bit further. Real quick, a quick recap. We're holding Discovery on a DumbMoney recommendation. I should have taken the stupid DumbMoney recommendation of Peter Flynn and been up 8%, not down 8%. Curacard sitting at 35K at the moment, which is down about 9K. This is US over here.
That 1,212%.
Yeah, so outrageous. My HCW Biologics, we're holding on hope, and it is still down 50%. But I'm not. I don't know what to do with that. I can't sell. I'm sort of like locked in psychologically. My Funko's been weird. It's been down 10% and it's been up 8%, and right now it sits at 0.41%. I believe it was almost up. I can't. I'm gonna actually have a look at the graph because I might be off because I check it quite sporadically, but I believe it was almost up like 10% in a day. I guess maybe not. Oh no, here it went from 8. Yeah, it was up like 10% in one day. I went from like down 7% to like up 7. Well, I guess that's more than, but up like 5%. And I'm like, wow, that's a massive bull run. Here we go, DumbMoney, and he sort of leveled off. So. But Funko, and why I got into that one, is a social arb play on NFTs, but in the more traditional world, because Funko is going very hard into NFTs. They're selling out all of their collections. I believe they make it's a couple of $1 million, a few $1 million a collection, and they're doing like collections every 2 weeks. And this is just a brand new branch that they've added in of full profit that they're just going to add to their bottom line. So I'm curious how that unfolds once this profit starts being realized in their financial reports. So here's a holder, and I've got 3 Gs in there. Apple's gone on a little bit of a bull run since I moved my 7K out at $148 last week. But I am holding. What's that?
Did you buy back into Apple?
No, I sold 7K. I bought in 10K originally, and I sold 7. So you can see I bought here still at the same price. And I've moved 7 over, and this is why my week looks kind of sparse, except for this big Etsy news I've got coming. I'm going to drop a bombshell. But I basically got some money in the air getting into crypto, and I'm getting into crypto in a very weird way. But we can talk more about that. Etsy. My store got shut down.
What?
Yeah.
Did they find out an entrepreneur on Etsy? They've been watching this channel and they're like,
it's funny. They're like, wait, Zegatee's not an artist? Essentially, I do believe it's similar to why it got shut down. And to touch on this, we were doing 30 sales a day on Etsy. We were basically in the green, about breaking even on ads, but I still had a product up there for $1 that a lot of people were going through the expensive listing to get, paying the ads on that, and then buying the cheaper one. And I had like 10 units of those left. And once they were gone, I'm like, it's going to hit the green. We've got the momentum. We're selling more than 1 an hour. People are loving it. We're getting great reviews. It's popping. And then I log in on my phone. I'm like, oh, let me check my sales. And it's like, this account has been deactivated. So I'm like, all right, I guess we can get it back. And we can probably see my search history. Etsy closed my account. Basically, it's a very, very common thing. And if anyone sells on Amazon, if they sold on eBay, if they have a PayPal account, if they've sold on any real big platform, even like TikTok shuts people down like this, there are these like bots / really harsh protocols that sometimes seem really irrational that shut people down and literally shut down like tens of thousands of accounts. I've gone through, you can see all these purple links from where my shop got shut down. I was raking through here. Now, what we have done is we put in an appeal, and we have to wait and see. There's some people who got their shops back open. My brother has done a lot of research into this too. He's like, I'm pretty confident it'll be back open. The biggest thing, and I won't bring up the information here until we're back and sailing in the green. But I think what happened is because we started the account in my name and then very quickly switched to my sister's name because she's the target audience and the demographic and the people she's actually creating this, the journals. If Etsy's listening, she is the one who hand makes them. So she should be the account owner. But I think it was, and they said like misleading or confusing conflicting information on your profile or something like that. And basically it's like, well, I used to be Benj. I was signing the emails off as Benj. And then I handed the account to her who was creating it and responding, and she's signing off as Jen. And she changed the profile and stuff. So I think they just like shady stuff, shut it down. So we've written a really nice email. So Etsy should be able to put that back up and we'll get cranking again. It was slightly disheartening when I saw that, but I'm also like, it's also a good reminder that you don't want to depend on these platforms to grow your business. Like you want Etsy to be an avenue that sales come down, but we didn't even have a website. And I'm like, well, we should have a website. We should have a TikTok. We should have an Instagram account. We should have an email list, and Etsy can provide 60, 70, 80% of the sales initially, but you slowly want to like push them away, which Etsy actually encouraged, which is funny enough. And I wouldn't be doing this Etsy if you just let me sell on your store. Like I'd be pushing all these through Etsy. So good long-term little hiccup. Terrible short-term. The funny thing is I don't know how much I've spent on ads. I've also bought stuff on Etsy that hasn't arrived yet, but the whole account shut down, even my buyer account. So I don't even know if my stuff's ever coming. So we'll just hopefully wait till that gets relisted and be back up and running. But in the meantime, honestly, I haven't invested in anything just because there's money moving. I got a couple of things I'd love to invest in the NFT world, but I'm just not liquid enough over there. And actually Binance is another platform that can shut you down. So I think Binance doesn't like me because I originally signed up in 2017 through a US ID. And now I have to, the ID is not valid anymore because I don't have my US visa. And so now all I have is Australian ID and they're not letting me deposit money. So I have to like backdoor money onto the NFT market, which is essentially going through Bitsky. Now, Bitsky is something funny, actually. This is the one that I recommended Pete jump into, these little nastier originals that we.
Oh, yes. And I didn't do it.
They didn't do it. So I don't blame you, because if anyone's looking at this, they're like, what the hell is this? In fact, when I was buying it, Jenna, my girlfriend, kind of came out of the shower. I'm like on the couch buying these things for like $20 a pop. And she's like, what the hell are you doing? I'm like, I'm investing. But you can see, and actually this is funny because this was originally a Gary Vee recommendation, and he's like partnered with Bitsky. But these were $10 plus about $10 of gas, so $20 each. And these are now selling on OpenSea. Well, they at the peak they were selling almost half an ETH, almost 1,500 US. Nuts, yeah. We are in a little bit of a
NAS.
And now, just to touch on this girl too, she's basically one of the biggest. There we go. By now, which go to activities. She's basically one of the biggest celebrities in the world. She has over 220 million followers. She's 7 years old. She's essentially a Kardashian at such a young age. Okay, so you can see people selling them off here. Different letters, weirdly enough, go for different prices as well. But they all seem to be at about $250 at the moment. This is that's 2 days ago. And there's also not much movement of them, which is interesting because there was only 10,000 of them minted. Now I thought there was going to be a lot more than this minted. But even Gary Vee, I was watching, he's like, I'm very disappointed in the lack of volume in the Nastya letters, which is why I'm holding, because I have about 12 of these. I paid about $300 for them, and now they're worth about 3 Gs. This is outside the challenge, unfortunately for me, but I'm holding long term because there's only 10,000 of them minted. She's got 220 million followers across her platform, 70 million on YouTube. Her audience is young, and she's bringing people into the NFT world that way. And I feel like in a year or 2 years, if she can continue and not burn out like the Honey Boo Boo, what do you call it? The cheerleading daughters. Is it cheerleading daughters? There's like cheerleading.
I don't keep up with them too much these days.
You don't know Honey Boo Boo?
Just give me 2 seconds. We're just gonna pause the YouTube.
Yeah.
The coffee just hit me. I'll be back in just a sec, mate. Watch this not get edited out.
This won't get edited out. I'll tell everyone what Honey Boo Boo is doing these days. This is Honey Boo Boo. She was a very big, I believe she was she a cheerleader? Yeah. What are they? They're beauty pageants. That's what they are. They're not cheerleaders. But essentially she burned out. She had a big series and stuff. But what you bet on, and Gary Vee says this, you bet on the jockey, not the horse. And if she doesn't burn out, and this is her original rookie card, first ever NFT, only 10,000 of them were minted, and we actually get a bonus minting. A bonus minting if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you spell her whole name, you get an extra bonus NFT. I can actually spell her name twice. Actually, I'm missing a second N, but I'll get that bonus NFT, and they're already worth 3 Gs from $300. It's a win, not in the challenge, fortunately for the man who's not with us at the moment. But I do think that's going to be a great long-term hold. Oh, but why I did actually come over to Bitsky, and I might wait for the doctor to return for this bit. So we'll edit from here. And we're back. Bro, well, I did slightly give a little tour of Nastya, but what I was actually thinking, and I'm like, this is such a fascinating, almost like a loophole that I feel like a lot of people will take advantage of, is on Bitsky, you can literally buy with a credit card. So you don't need liquidity. So for example, for this one, there's 2,400 sold, but when it was available, you just plug your credit card in and you buy. But then you transfer them to OpenSea and you can sell on Ethereum.
That is a horrible thing to be telling people who have credit risk.
This is not
financial advice.
Financial advice. Well, you guys, excuse me, where are you taking my charger out? Are you serious?
This is a way you can turn credit into Ethereum.
Well, yeah, it's terrible. But if you have a debit card, you can put your own money into Ethereum. And in fact, the US Open is selling like really high-end NFTs at the moment. They got forever remaining, which is annoying. But with this, you get like a backstage tour of the US Open, 30 minutes of play in the stadium, photo opportunity with the trophies. Like anyone who's like a US Open super fan, like this is a dream come true. And obviously you get the collectible with it, which is the first ever US Open NFT, which is massive. And I'm like, you can buy these with a credit card. You can buy, and not a credit card, but no one be ridiculous out there. But you can buy these with a debit card. You can move money straight in with a debit card. And actually, this guy who's over here outrageously bidding on Venus's Williams' legendary 1 of 20 is trying to get some liquidity into the Ethereum world, literally just through buying NFTs and then flipping them.
So rather than putting cash in, put liquidity in through a credit card, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you could put it through a credit card, which I thought was wild.
That is pretty wild. I actually want to pull back for a second because you were talking about, what was the one you're 51% down on? What was that?
HCW Biologics.
Yeah, because I want to share screen because I think that's an interesting thing to talk about, just really quickly. It's got this sunk cost fallacy. Excellent. Which is where, because you've already sort of invested or started doing something, you just keep doing it because, well, you've already invested time or money into something, so you may as well keep going. Mm-hmm. And how do we as investors combat that? Because at what point do you decide it's a bad investment and you sell versus holding on? And I think that comes back to reasons why you invested in it and having solid reasons too. As you see, I like this little thing here. I already started, so I might as well keep going. You just dropping fish food in here, and the fish is like, damn, I'm rich, son.
What's the fly doing?
I don't know. He's thinking.
What's he got to do with this?
It looks like a worm with wings.
It does.
He's not quite a butterfly yet. But interesting to hear your thoughts around that one, because it sounds like you're a bit stuck in that sunk cost fallacy at the moment. Mm-hmm. What are your plans for that? At what point would you sell? Like if it went up 20%, would you sell, or does it have to go back up to where you were? If it went down another 10, do you sell?
I'd love to see a green on the sheet. I'd love to see some miraculous. I don't even know what this company does. Literally an IPO play, and it's just been plunging ever since. But yeah, psychologically, I'd love to see a green on that sheet and just be like, it's $500. What am I going to do with $500? But it's probably a good question for me to ask. I probably should be like, I should take that out and put that into something ultra crazy and just be like, it was, you know what I should do? I should play, what's that rocket game? The crypto rocket game. Have you seen that one?
No.
It's basically a, I'll share screen because it's like one of the most addictive crypto games that people play, and people lose so much money. Crypto rocket game. Now, anyone who's watching this, we've had some wild things this episode. Don't use credit cards to get liquidity in Ethereum. Don't come to the Ethereum casino and gamble your money away. And that might be a reason I don't do it. So I'm not encouraging this. But Rocket Run's different. It's called Crash. And essentially what people do is they come in here, they link their wallet up because, it's a Wild West at the moment. No one's actually like dictating who can do what in here. And there's just these casinos that you plug your wallet in really quickly. You get to bet on the rocket, and basically you have to, you bet next round, say I put $1,000 in, and then it explodes at some point, and you got to take your money out before it explodes. And these things go viral on YouTube and TikTok and stuff. Just people see you got 1.11, so you had to have taken your money out before then. But it might be funny for me just to do a game of Crash, which is just like take my $500 and then only take it out at 3x and do it like twice. And that is financial advice.
That is exactly gambling advice. I like that. I like that a lot. But isn't that called the sort of Las Vegas endowment effect, where when you're down, you want to keep playing until you get back to where you were, and when you're up, you're playing with house money, so then you're cool.
Yeah. Until you get down to where you were, and then if you're on tilt far enough, you get rid of where you were.
And that's how Las Vegas always wins, right?
Yeah, and I think a big thing on that Las Vegas effect as well, casino chips. I don't know what the percentage of casino chips give the house an edge, but it's like if you were gambling straight cash and you had to put cash on the table and you could walk out the door anytime, I feel like it's like 100%. Like I would walk out with much more money than obviously, I have to find the teller, and the teller's always like in a corner on a different floor or something. And you walk past like 100 shiny machines on the way, and you're like, can you make it out of here alive? But I feel like that's what is also what's happening with crypto, especially for something like Ethereum, where it's like in Australian dollars, 5,300 Australian dollars, and you see something is like 2.5, and you're like, okay, well, 2.5, that sounds tiny.
That's
and
pretty
it's, like, it's $13,000 and it's a photo of a cat. And I feel like if this was strictly in US or Australian dollars, prices would be a lot different.
I agree. I agree. I now want a photo of a cat. So
is that something 2.5? So, bro, what does your week look like?
So my week this week looks like looking to create a little bit more liquidity, because I'm looking at one more NFT, because I do think come a month's time that they're going to go up in price, and I'd like to be able to sell one, because I'm going to have 3 then. So I'd like to be able to sell one at a profit, increase liquidity so that I can invest in something else, and hold on to 2, because I do believe that they are going to continue to grow in price over the next 3, 6, 12 months, definitely. So excited about that. Very excited to see what happens with the 3 recovery stocks. Tyro, Center Group, which is Westfield, and what was it, Webjet. So I think next week, don't hold me to this, but I do think on Monday we'll see a bit of a pop, and throughout the week probably sort of just stay around the same area. And hopefully this time next week when we're talking about this, we can talk through, will we right? Like, were the reasons that I picked right, or were they wrong? And starting to understand the market a little bit more. And I saw a notification pop up just before that New South Wales is planning to, from 70% vaccinated, if you are vaccinated, you can do home quarantine when you come back from interstate or overseas. So I think again, that's going to be a big boost for the travel market. And so I think all these travel stocks you are going to see go up and up and up. And Flight Centre, Webjet, 2 things I'm very heavily invested in outside the challenge too.
I like it, man.
I like it. What about yourself? What's on for you this week?
So last week, I basically entered the crypto world full time because I wasn't allowed to be shiny until I got over 60K and got that Etsy store running. Now they took the Etsy store away from me. I'm over 60K. I just want to get super shiny. So basically how I feel like I've been doing ridiculous amounts of research, and I feel like I'm moving so slowly because I'm just starting at I'm just scratching the surface of this NFT, crypto, DeFi. There's so many different areas, and I'm scratching the surface of like 2 of them. So I'm continuing to get really well educated in this area, because I've seen so many people in my research go from literally not having 1 Ethereum to having 8 figures of net worth over the last couple of years. And it's like, there is booms and busts, and there's been a massive bull run recently, but like this hasn't been publicly adopted or mainstreamly adopted. There's still only, I think, 80,000 active wallets trading on OpenSea. We're in such its nascent phases where even Ethereum gas prices, you're paying like $800 to mint something, or some people paying like $13,000 to mint something. And then you have things like Solana and all these other networks popping up, which Solana's up almost 100% in the last week.
Ridiculous.
Just because they have no gas, and now they've got an NFT infrastructure. Although all they're doing seems to be copying all the NFTs that are going up on Ethereum. and not really being too original at the moment. But I'm watching the space very closely. And even yesterday, Jenna spotted, because she's in the space too, one of the gaming tokens, D-Race, got hacked. And it went from $3.40 or something down to 30 cents. And they fixed the hack and it went straight back up to $2.50. And it's like, that's an 8x. Because I was borderline investing in D-Race and I'd heard of it. And then I went to CoinMarketCap and I saw it absolutely crashed. I saw it down 40%. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. They must have been a scam or something. And it's like, if I knew enough and I saw that massive drop, I could 8x my money. And so I'm literally working. I think it's going to be a couple months in the working on just being smart enough to not be dumb in this industry and to make some money, because I'm also seeing everybody else get the NFT bug and jump into this industry and making like not ideal decisions. And I'm like, I'm doing the exact same thing, but just on the next level. And I'm just like, I just want to keep getting more and more knowledgeable, because the trend is there. We're at 1% of the trend that we're going to be in 10 years time. And I have the time, we have the platform here. And so I think what you'll see over the next 12 months will be Etsy store as it comes back on, and then just straight DeFi, NFTs, cryptos, because I don't think there's a better way to get a return. More risky, yes, but I think that's where I'm trying to hedge my bets with education. So I'll be educating sort of 2 months.
I like it. I'll be very excited to see, especially with the Solana network and all those different sorts of things that are popping up. It seems that things are popping up faster than I can learn about them. And that's what I'm probably struggling with. Is it's almost like, well, it's not almost, it is a full-time job to keep on top of understanding all the different things that are popping up. And then something new pops up and you're like, oh, like, you know, should I jump into this? And you see 1,000x over the next week and you're like,
shut down.
Should put 20 bucks in that one. chuck a Chris 50 on that. So it is hard to stay ahead of the game, I think, in this. And I think it's about who you follow as well. And I'm starting to follow more people. So recently downloaded TikTok, and I'm literally just following crypto influencers. That way I can sort of see and hear what they're talking about. And they seem to be, you know, pretty fast, pretty quick with those sorts of things. And hopefully that I can jump on a few of those different things once I start to find people I like and trust, and I can start to understand the information that they're giving out.
Yeah, I like that. Actually, one thing that actually did ring a bell, I did invest some money this week.
Ooh.
I'll jump into this really quick because it's such a fascinating turn in history. And this is why I'm so fascinated in Gary V. Sorry, this thing, Zoom windows over the top of it /book. This is why I'm so fascinated at these NFTs in this world, is because it's literally revolutionizing everything. Like social media, it's like, oh my God, all of a sudden Kylie Jenner's a billionaire. Yeah, it's because she's got the reach on Instagram. It's like, it's a very simple business framework. And the NFTs are the next extension of that, the decentralization of that, and putting the power back in the artists and the creators' hands. Gary Vee launched, he's got a book, 12 and a half, and it's about 12 and a half necessary ingredients. It's like the emotions, like empathy and like honesty and candor and stuff like that. You know, Gary Vee's very good at that stuff. It's more the long-term stuff, less the hacky stuff. But that's not why we're here. Why we're here is because he launched this book in such a fascinating way, where, remember, I think we've had this conversation where like courses are great because they're timeless and spaceless, but they're not costless. And Gary Vee's almost solved that problem. And he didn't invent the technology, but he's obviously leveraging it really well, where he's made his book earn you money if you buy it. And what he's done is he's offered a special gift if you buy 12 books. And so a bunch of people went and bought 12 books to get this special gift that's airdropped. When it's airdropped, it has to be an NFT. It's a crypto. It gets airdropped to your wallet. And everyone's like, wow, I trust Gary Vee. He's incredible. He's going to airdrop me a gift. And it's like, I'm the same. Like, I don't believe Gary Vee would make you buy 12 books and not give you at least that amount of value back. And he's talking about VFriends version 2 coming out and whatever. And he launched this. It was sort of quieter. I found it on his Discord, and I was very lucky. I got an alert just as I woke up, and it was in the window. And anyway, I bought a bunch of books. I have to figure out how much I have to count. What was that?
11 or
I bought 11 books. I bought a total of, how many books did I buy? I bought 264 books.
Yes.
Now, I don't have that liquidity in this challenge, so I can't include them all here. You also don't get airdrop the gift until November 15. But I'll probably put like 100 of these inside the challenge once I figure out how much liquid I've got and sort those finances. Because I do think it'll be at least a 2x. Now, why don't I think it's going to be a 10x? Because it is Gary V. Is because, dude, he sold 1 million books in a day. And I was looking, it's like most books sold.
Are they a digital book?
No, they're hard copy. I'm going to get a bookshelf. It's going to be my YouTube background. I'm going to get a bookshelf, and I'm literally just going to put every single copy of Gary V. I actually shipped them to my mom's house, but I can call. And I got an Australian dollar discount, which was also big. A 30% discount on the book, but getting the same NFT. So we're going to make extra profit based on everyone else, which I thought was a good arb.
Wait, so when you buy in Australia, the book costs the same. Like if it was 30 American, it was 30 Australian.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, ridiculous. Most books sold in a day. This is hard to find, but I believe he's like up there in the total books sold. Like the Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, 5 million sales in the UK. And it's like, Gary Vee sold 1 million in one day of pre-sales because he made his book costless. And I'm like, this is such a revolutionary technology where you reward people for buying your stuff more than the money you're actually receiving, but you're rewarding them with other people's money. Because if you put enough value into that token, other people are going to want to buy it off the people you gave it to for more. So yeah. It's a fascinating thing. I'm very excited to see where it goes in the next 10 years. And actually use it myself for some of my businesses, because if you can do that, like that's infinitely scalable. So I want to dig a little bit deeper there, but I did actually make that investment. So I'll pop that in my sheet before next week.
Oh, wow. All right. I need to buy a few books. It's over, isn't it?
I got some spare, bro, if you want some.
You got a couple of spare ones? Yeah, I might hit you up.
if you want 100, I got 100 spare.
Yeah, I might put 100 in the background. Like,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, we both have 100 books in the background.
That'd be fantastic.
How much was each book out of interest?
So it was funny because it fluctuated based on where you bought it from. I ended up buying it not from Amazon Australia because it was more expensive, but from it's the bookstore, the green one. It's an Australian bookstore. Pull up my email receipt.
Definitely interested to see
green.
What you spent on books.
Oh, there. Where is it? It keeps popping up. Jenna, where did we buy those books from? Booktopia. And I believe I bought it for, I think it was 30 Australian each. Is that right? No. How much was it? 26 Australian.
So you spent about $6,500 on Gary Vee's books.
I spent 6,500 Australian, which ended up being about 4,200 US. And everybody who bought in the US spent 6,000 US to get the same thing. So I've already got a 30% profit margin that other people don't have.
This is fantastic. Yeah. I love this.
Yeah. And dude, another way to go from fiat to crypto without going through your accounts.
Genius.
But put it on a credit card.
All those points.
Yeah, wild. But yeah, I will be going deeper into that just because I'm so amazed by the technology. And I'm very excited to be somewhat near the front in terms of like applying it and the use cases of it and investing in it.
It's ridiculous. I'm loving this. This is the best.
Yeah, jump on in, bro.
Yeah, we're literally gonna dive on in. We're gonna go full steam ahead. This is gonna be good.
Oh yeah, I'm excited just to keep tempting you to jump full time into this, and this podcast just literally becomes modern finance and investing in the metaverse.
I've managed to hold that 15,000 initial investment in stocks because I'm like, it's still interesting to talk about, but it's so tempting to pull that out and go, be friends.
Which doubled in the last week because he's super pumping them at the moment.
Oh, you're kidding. I was going to buy one.
Yeah, remember when we hung up last time? I'm like, yeah, I bet you could offer and get it for about 6.8. It's now 15 floor.
15 floor.
15 floor. Yeah, 15 floor price.
And Ethereum has gone up in price in that time too.
Ethereum's gone up. They're about 60K US each now because he's literally done nothing but be like, if you don't have a V friend by September 10th, you're missing out. He's just injecting so much value, or at least perceived value. September's 10, September 13, he's launching bonuses and stuff for his V friends. So everyone's just eating up the floor.
Jeez, 50,000 US is the cheapest one I can see here.
Yep. And that'll disappear before the 10th too. The 10th is the big announcement of some form. And I think it could be a version 2 V friend sort of thing.
Ridiculous.
Craziness, isn't it?
Oh, mate, this is... I'm keen to see where this goes. We shall see.
The craziest one, and just to touch on it one last bit, is Bored Ape Yacht Club. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, bro. So this might tempt you. This might get you in. So I'm gonna go OpenSea. Bored Ape Yacht Club. Now, Bored Ape Yacht Club is a fascinating one because it's got 5,400 owners. It's very well dispersed, where a lot of the flippers, people who are trying to make short-term cash on this, are just like absolutely holding a bunch of items. Bored Ape Yacht Club has one of the best dispersions. They also have like high rollers in here. So the floor price is 34 ETH.
Whoa.
It is one of the best performing tokens. Why? And this is a big thing I'm figuring out, is their community. The community is ridiculous. Everyone's so active. Everyone has money in their community. For some reason, it's like filtered through to the elites with a lot of money. And so no one's wanting to sell. So it's not very liquid. And when they sell, obviously they sell for a lot of money. They're selling for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, what Bored Ape Yacht Club did is, and we can sit over here, is they brought out something called the Mutant Ape Yacht Club, which is number 1 on OpenSea right now. And what they did is they created this thing called the Bored Ape Chemistry Club. And you it's ridiculous. So essentially, if you held an ape, you were airdropped. Airdropped means you get gifted into your wallet that the ape that we just went and saw was registered to. You get gifted, and those original apes, hundreds of that. Some of them were like $600,000-$700,000 for an ape if you had like a gold one. Now you got airdropped one of these serums, an M1 serum, an M2 serum, or a Mega Mutant serum. Now I don't know the exact numbers, but most people got M1s. Some really lucky people got M2s, and people who became overnight millionaires, the very, very few of them got a Mega Mutant serum, which you can see the last one sold for 350 ETH.
Oh my lord.
The last one sold for like $1.3 million for the serum that was airdropped for free into these people's wallets. Now, I don't know how many there were, but say there were 10 Mega Mutant serums that all these things people minted. You then applied it to your ape. Like you actually gave it to your ape to drink, and they transformed your ape, your NFT, into a second one called the Mutant Ape Yacht Club. Now, the Mutant Ape Yacht Club, like I said, is number 1 on OpenSea. But you can see they're now selling for 5 ETH. They did get up to 6 or 7 ETH. The more expensive ones are extreme. But in the Mutant Ape Yacht Club, depending on what sort of serum you gave your ape different characteristics. And it was really cool because everyone was going, this was all over Twitter because it gave him like quite crazy cool looking characteristics, and everyone was posting their ape, then their mutant ape next to it, and everyone's like, oh, I need some of this serum. So the price of serum went up. And then the people who bought the $1 million mutant serum, which wasn't $1 million to start, you could get it for like $30,000, and it's just fluctuated from there. The apes who transformed with that, let's have a look. So these are the mutant ones, the ones with the green backgrounds here with the mutant serum. 222 ETH, 250 ETH offer. Oh no, so yeah, 250 ETH sale. 335 ETH. This one was 350 ETH, and he's now wanting 1,400 ETH for it. But a fantastic, like the yacht club, like a fantastic, like fun drop they did. Really well executed. They made $90 million in their sales. And they're putting all that back into the development of the actual NFT and the company and the community's popping. And it's like, if you have the right community and you have the right developers working for you, like all of these things are absolutely exploding.
This is crazy, man. Honestly, they get gifted this free serum, which is worth like $1 million now.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous.
But you only get gifted it. And this is that thing where it's like, how can you add so much value to people who hold your token that it makes it profitable to hold your token? So it becomes costless and becomes profitable to actually be in someone's business. This is a business. The Bored Ape Yacht Club is a business, but it's profitable to be a customer of this business because you basically, your assets are appreciating with it.
I'm just going to share screen real quickly because just saw this one here. The last sale for this one was 0.35 ETH. Current price 40 ETH at 156,000 US dollars.
That's so good. That's so good, bro. That's so funny.
Well, I think on that note, we're going to sign off and dive deep into some NFTs today, mate. That is exactly where I'm going.
All I want to do, bro, is just get you that NFT bug that bit me. That's got me going like 8 hours a day of research. And just this show literally becomes an NFT and
this will be the NFT show. I can sell it. I'll have $17,000 of liquidity to put into NFTs.
Yes.
Oh wow! All right. Well, that one big week ahead of NFT research. I'll be really interested to report back on what happens with Tyro, Webjet, and Westfield this week. So for those invested in those stocks, I think it's going to be a very, very exciting week.
Oh yeah, that's exciting. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.